I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that you are here to discuss episode 8 on Andor, a Star Wars podcast. Lot to discuss. Lots going on. Lots of things. Lots of motives to be questioned. And Lord knows I can't handle this alone. I need the help of a professional, but I couldn't find one. So instead, I got this guy.
What is going?
Oh, wait, sorry.
Justin, how you
to
doing?
the
buddy?
dark side.
Okay, sorry. That won't happen again, I promise.
I hope it happens again. That would be really good.
Whatever. What is going on, Fox? We have not talked about this episode.
So a little behind the scenes, okay, for those of you just joining in. We don't talk about the episodes. We I think we did in the first show, maybe the second show, but then we made this pact, like we're not going to talk about this stuff.
That's
but
right.
then we tease each other about what we think we might know.
We're
and
like,
what we
oh,
wanna
I
share,
got
but
something.
you're gonna like, and then of course it just makes everything worse. So then before the show, we join, we do a brief little exchange, and then we just sit there in total silence because we don't want to say a thing to each other. It's weird. It's awkward.
I'll be. This is
Yeah.
transparency. Right before the show, I said I have a theory that I would like to talk about in the show, and it will blow your mind. And what's really cool about this theory is anyone that's watching can simply accept the theory as what's going on, and it's possible that if it's true, it's also possible Disney will never reveal it, so you can accept it.
It's crazy.
That's what's happening.
Crazy.
And I'll tell you more about it soon.
So
When the
when
reveal of the part comes up.
when the reveal of the part, when the time is right. Everyone in the chat, I want to thank you so much for stopping by, and of course, we got to say hi to every single one of you, at least most of you. We've got Dan Z in the chat. We got Rhea stopping by to say hi. Managing Chaos, what's going on? How you doing? And Paul Barris, what's up, Fox and Justin? It's Andor Saturday. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Lot to discuss. Lots of things going on. One thing that we got to kind of go over. What are you drinking tonight, Justin?
Oh, I'm wrapping up. This may be gone tonight. The Woodford.
It could be gone tonight. That may actually be gone.
It's pretty good. I just paid the bill on that one for my Costco membership, credit card thing. So
Nice. Very good. I've got a mixer. I'm just drinking Jim Beam and Coke Zero because I'm conscious about my weight and calories and sugar. So there's that for sure. So let's go ahead and get into it. We'll also let everybody know, I'm going to prepare you. The number of slides has been greatly reduced. I know. I set this standard of about 60 to 70 slides. We're going to completely eliminate. We're going to blow that out of the water. That's not going to happen tonight. We're going to definitely reduce that for sure.
Your loser is what it is. You were busy this weekend. Is that what
I'm
it is?
exercising restraint is what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Okay,
I'm
that's
exercising restraint. That's what I'm going with that. That's what I'm going to go with.
All right.
But because of the way things went last week, I kind of like that. We're going to follow that same trend. But before we get into anything, anything at all, I want to go ahead and talk non-spoilers with you, Justin. So episode 8, for those that have seen the show, they haven't seen the show, they haven't seen this episode yet. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Let me know. Non-spoiler.
Thoughts of, without spoilers, thoughts of this episode.
This episode,
Okay. Here's what I think. This could have been a movie. This episode introduces concepts that if this was a movie, maybe not a Star Wars movie, but just like a science fiction movie, that it reveals the premise of what's going on, and you saw that in the trailer, I'd be like, I'm going to see that movie.
Absolutely.
And when they reveal like what is happening to Andor and the constraints he's under, and it's like insane. And then the acting he's doing, like, you have to look really close because they show and they don't tell. There's all these scenes where you just see Andor's face, and it then shoots to show what he's seeing and then shows his reaction. It's like, this is what it would be like if you were in those shoes. Your face would just
crazy.
be like, this is it. This is
You know what?
nuts. What's going on?
I don't want to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
I don't want to hear what you have to say. But if you want to share something, I'm going to leave for just a second. I'm going to leave you with the chat. I'm going to leave you alone with the chat.
Oh,
and
wow.
you tell them the things you don't want me to hear just quite yet. I'll come right back. So, guys, Justin has the floor.
Wait. Okay. What? You're going to leave for a second? Okay, so he's leaving for a second The thing what I want to talk about when we get into this episode, there's these scenes that are happening to Andor. I'll give you one little clue. He's not wearing shoes. The fact that he's not wearing shoes makes me think that P-Dub's Arcade Loft, if he was watching Andor, he would be like, put your shoes back on, right? Because that guy says when you assemble the arcade one-up cabinets, you have to be wearing shoes. But the reason why Andor is not wearing shoes, that whole concept.
What did he say, guys? What did he say? I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. Let me say hi to Dan Z. Hi, Fox. Hi, Justin. How you doing? Rhea, once again, episode 8 was peak content. Video call. What? Are they dropping spoilers, Justin? What's going on?
No. I think it's emojis, but they aren't recognized in the streaming
software. Oh,
reason.
yeah, that's right. I got you. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, so we got Paul Barris. What's up, Fox and Justin? Commented on my video. I made a separate video about something else, and Paul was like, hey, guys, or actually he said, hey, Fox, like the video, but I can't wait to see you two later on tonight talking about Andor. So that was cool. Very cool. Zero Hero, what is going on? What's up, everybody? I have a theory that I found. Wait. No. Justin, he said he has a theory that he found. Is that his theory or someone else's?
I think so.
Theory? Okay. All right.
I think Zero Hero has a theory. So when we get to that part of the episode, dude, start spamming the chat and be like, this is the part with my theory.
Yeah. You need to let us know, because we're not going to eat up the entire show with slides. I want to get everybody involved. And of course, one of my favorites. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
So are you saying in this episode you're following the threads? Like
I am. We're going to follow the threads.
I really want to see how you pulled that off.
Yes. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. Everybody, strap in. Let's get through this real quick. Let's talk about our thoughts, what we think, where we think that things are going to land, and some of our own personal theories. But let's go ahead and get started with some of my they're not copyrighted, but they should be slides. So we talk about right off the bat. We left Andor being sentenced in some court somewhere for a crime he didn't commit, or kind of a nondescript crime. This is sort of the shuttle bay, the shuttle area, where they're dividing people up. They're dividing these inmates up to go to different places. And he's still kind of in a disbelief. He doesn't quite know. Like, he's like, he's still like sticking to the line. I'm a tourist. What do you think about this little scene right here, Justin?
Yeah, you're there with Andor, right? Because you don't know what's going on. He doesn't know what's going on. They're talking about where are you from, and no matter like whatever your answer is, the shop trooper or whatever they're called, they're like, you go this direction, you go that direction. So it's like, why is that? He's confused. We're confused.
It's crazy, and we're still not knowing what's going on. This shot here, now this was kind of cool. The magnets kick in, so he's cuffed. The magnets kick in, and it pulls his arms away. It kind of reminded me of that elevator scene in not Civil War, but the second Captain America movie, Winter Soldier, when he has the magnets and it kind of moves his hands and he locks them in place, and it's sort of a precursor to what we're going to see later on in the episode. Still following Andor, he's going somewhere. He's not going to just like the county lockup. Totally different planet. Narkina 5.
Yeah.
So we have flying in. Here's the shot of the planet, and here is that prison itself, sort of in the ocean. Reminded me also again of another Marvel movie. It was Civil War at the end. That I forget the name of that prison that was underwater, and it comes up. So
this
very
is like
cool, very
Alcatraz-y maybe, because it's like,
there you go.
How do you get? Because obviously, I mean, we know where Andor ends up, right? So he's just a tourist. He goes to jail. He's in this prison. How can he escape? It's basically Star Wars Alcatraz, right? And then inside, I just have to say it now. It's basically Apple-inspired manufacturing plant, but
pretty much.
All that, like prison, Apple prison. Let's call it
Apple prison. I mean, Apple, employment. Yeah, sure, whatever.
So it's like, obviously, this is they've already said it, right? This is what,
right.
Whatever Tony Gilroy said. This is a trilogy. So there's 3 episodes. There's an arc here. And so this is introducing a few of the characters and in the prison and all of that. And I'm sorry, I'm going too far into it.
No, you're fine.
But it's like, this is exciting. This is the part where I'm like, this could be a movie. Like, just this concept right here, a guy wrongfully in prison. It's basically sci-fi Alcatraz, and they're making them do him do labor to build something, and then at the end of the movie, let's say it's a movie but it's not Star Wars, it's like they were building something crazy that was going to take over the world. I don't know, whatever.
No, exactly. No, it's very. This is sort of the premise of its own movie. Absolutely. So you have this a couple great shots. I just wanted to say, flying into this planet was a great shot. The shot of this, and it's not just this prison, but there's multiple in this ocean. So you see a few
Mm-hmm.
just kind of scattered around. Really cool. But then there's some. There's this weird emphasis on, hey, take off your shoes, take off your shoes. You don't really know
Mm-hmm.
why, and then it's time to. I don't know. This is like disco. No, they're not partying. They're not getting down. They're being, I guess, electrical shock is going on. Something attacks the nervous system whenever you wear just these, just your feet, right? And they make contact with the metal. Everybody else has the cool moon boots, the Nike moon boots from Back to the Future 2. They the inmates unfortunately do not. When you saw this and their reaction, Justin, what were you thinking?
Immediately, because he says this line, he's like, "You're probably wondering why we don't have any weapons, or whatever."
Oh,
And then
that's
he
a good point.
presses the button and he explains, and just that's the moment where I'm just like, "What? This could be a movie on its own." I guess it is. They took a really cool concept and put it in the Star Wars universe. The 3 episodes, he's in the most insane prison where they don't need as many guards as a normal prison. How are you going to escape? It's all water. You're physically under the water, right? It's like this, because they go down. And how is he going to get out? I'm actually excited about figuring out how can he escape. Think about it. If you're going to be, say, like a prisoner, a prison guard has a gun or something, some type of weapon. If you can run fast enough, you can
Hmm.
kind of get away. Even
Sure.
the little shock thing, you could. How? Imagine right now. I was watching this guy, Generation. He's a great content creator, and he's talking about Star Wars, and he mentioned this. He was like, imagine the floor you're standing on right now could be electrified.
At
That's
any moment, any
at
moment.
any
Yeah.
moment. And I thought, oh my God, that's crazy concept. And you don't know who's doing it.
Well,
You don't
and
really see the guards.
you see Andor looking around. Basically, he doesn't have a lot of dialogue, but you can see his brain moving. His brain is working, right? His eyes are looking around. You can tell, okay, he's trying to think of exit strategy. How can I do this? How can I do that? And every time you think that maybe he's trying to figure something out, or he has something figured out, there's another roadblock. They have the magnets. That's going on. He's trying to work that out. Now they've got a floor that shocks you. What's going on there? So you can already see the wheels turning. I'm interested to figure out, because he's thinking of it. There's going to be some kind of crazy, wild escape plan, or at least I think an attempt at some point. There has to be.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
it,
we know he gets out eventually, right?
Eventually, right? So what
Does
happens?
is it he serves
Yeah,
his 6-year sentence and then that's
it,
the end of the
that
they
incredibly
fast forward.
anticlimactic. Yes,
Yeah.
I just served my time. That's it. That was kind of lame. Not that it couldn't be interesting, but yeah, that would not be good. A couple other things going on. So we see that going on, and that was just level one that we're shocked at. As he's already got, so Andor's changed. He's getting ready to work his way down to the work floor, the workshop, the place he's going to be at. This is not going to be one of those things where you just kick back and leave your feet up. This is going to be a place where you actually work. Kind of like I thought about the old. I guess it was the way they used to have prisons. You would make the license plates, right? You would stamp something out. You would do some kind of a work for the county, the state, the whatever. A couple things before we get to that point, though. Andor dressed, coming down, and there was kind of this. All the guards are in place except for this one guy, and it's the guy I have circled here on the
Oh.
with the red.
Hmm.
They kind of make a big deal about him coming in late. Like, where are you? You're supposed to be here. This takes priority. What are you doing? And he kind of runs in a little bit late, a little bit winded. Sorry, I had something else to do, but I'm here. Is there something to be made of that, Justin? What do you think?
I think this prison is so constructed well that
Hmm.
it's look, if anyone acts up, boom, they'll electrify you. They have the ability to kill you if they want to through the electrification. So I think the guard's job is kind of meaningless. Like the only real job that they have is when they bring in someone new, which is
Hmm.
probably something that does happen regular. They kill off certain people. So there's a little bit of like Hunger Games going on too, where it's like
Absolutely.
there's this, if you don't, well, I'm sure you got that covered in a little bit, right? Hunger Games feels going on. So they basically have to do their job when new recruits come in, whatever you want to call it, like new
Hmm.
prisoners come in.
It's I can't, everything you think, at least in this show, you think, because it's so sort of understated, and there's not a lot of crazy sci-fi crazy stuff going on. I begin to pick apart things. Each character, when they do something, I think, oh, there's something there. There might be something there. Is this going to be someone that eventually works with them to help them escape? Is he, rebel underground? Why was he late? What was going on? Or
Maybe,
maybe he's
maybe.
just a substandard stormtrooper. Who knows? And of course, I didn't see this coming. I don't remember his name at all. I mean, maybe it came up and I just didn't notice it. Andy freaking Circus shows up. This is Snoke.
It's
This
Snoke,
is
yeah.
Gollum. This is
Yeah.
Caesar from the Apes movies,
Yep.
Planet of the Apes and all that, the new ones. I also Ulysses Claw from Marvel. Again, this guy's getting a ton of work from Disney, and I salute Disney for doing it, because I think he's a great character actor. But to see him
Yes.
pop up was very cool.
It was very cool.
Very cool. Justin, will this person eventually become Snoke?
No, right?
Okay,
This
all right.
is
All right, you're probably
I don't
right.
think
Yeah.
I don't think there's a
This
Snoke
is not
connection
Snoke.
here.
Okay.
It was just they needed a good lead role for this, and let's give this guy, a lead role in a trilogy, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got a death scene and
Yes.
he required that. He's like, my death scene as Snoke was kind of weird. Give me like a really good one where you can actually see my face. A fantastic actor, and of course, the moment they showed him, I'm sure everyone was like, "Oh, that's the Snoke guy," right? A lot of people have seen the behind the scenes in this guy. He's like famous for doing all it with the dots over the face, and because he can do all those
Absolutely. The mocap.
expressions.
Yep. Yep.
It was really cool to see him just like he's playing the part himself. And it didn't take me away from, dude, this guy's Snoke. Like, I thought about it for 2 seconds, and then I
I
was just
did
right back into
too.
the, because he's
Yeah.
that good, right? You're like,
He is
oh,
that
he's
good.
he's this guy. He's not Snoke. He's this guy.
No, he's definitely good. And to set up for everybody that maybe you didn't see the episode, this is the shop manager, this is the foreman, this is the lead inmate for this area, for this shift. He is in charge. He's a bulldog. He's driving these inmates to do what? They're making something. They're making stuff. There's several tables in this area, and they're making this part over and over and over again. They keep making these same parts. And there's this drive to, hey, listen, there's so many tables in this room. You're all in competition. We got you got to be the best, or you got to at least maintain this certain average. And if you're the least, if you're the worst producer of the day, what happens, Justin? Do you
I
remember?
think you get shocked and maybe killed, but I don't know. I was a little confused about that because at the very end of the episode, there's kind of this. They don't say anything, not that I noticed, but you're like led to believe that some people are just got shocked or about to get shocked, and then it just kind of ends. So I wasn't clear on if the bottom die or the bottom just get heavily tortured.
Right. I think they get,
but it's bad for sure.
So first day, kind of tough. Not the best day for the new inmates coming in and getting used to all this. You think you're just going to sit in a cell? I don't think so. And we see some of that. I'm with you. I agree that there's been some kind of I think they were shocked maybe because they were the worst performer, because unfortunately, because Andor wasn't on table 5 with the other guys, they came up with a short end of the stick, and you see this look on his face at the end of the day, end of the shift. He's just like, what am I going to do? What have I walked into?
Yes.
He is just, you just see it on his face. Like I said, not a lot of dialogue from Cassian Andor this week, but he's wearing a lot of emotions on his face, and we're definitely seeing it. But what was interesting is while he's kind of going through that, you can tell he's processing some of this. He sees one of his fellow inmates doing sign language. And,
he's real confused by it. I'm confused by it. There's something going on. Maybe they're planning the escape. This is the only way they can communicate. I don't know. Do they have the ability to destroy the thing that electrifies the ground? Do they found a way to steal boots?
There's a lot of like prison movies have this, where you kind of get an idea of sort of the way they function, the way they kind of get around and skirt some of the rules and regulations. And this is definitely one of the ways. I think this is establishes, if nothing else, they have some form of communication. but he's not talking to somebody right next to him. He's looking out, reaching out through this little window into the
Right.
other hallways there, communicating with somebody else. I liked this shot. It's giving you a sense of scale when you're
Yes.
talking about this prison they're in. It's kind of a big deal. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a
But
lot
what
of
do you think about
questions
this?
like what are they building?
Mhm.
How many people are there? How many people are dying from this? We see that someone. The other thing that it shows me, it's so weird. Like I think I maybe wasn't paying attention enough throughout
Mhm.
all the Star Wars series, but like this Andor is revealing to me how bad the Empire is. Like, obviously, like I know
Absolutely.
it's silly to
Yeah.
say, but it's like, okay,
No,
yeah,
it's
Darth Vader's like the scariest villain ever. If you're standing in front of him, like you're gonna be scared. But it's like it is the most torturous government you possibly could think of that abuses their citizens to the extent never seen, at least on this planet. I is it beyond North Korea? I don't know. It's like insane level because
it's
everything that's
yeah.
happening in this prison is like torture times 10 to the 10th power or something.
It's like government unchecked, right? It's like if you just had no oversight and you could do whatever you want, human nature is unfortunately not good. It's not good, and the thirst for power and all that, But yeah, this is when you run unchecked, when there's no oversight at all, and you can just do what you want to do. The empire obviously has needs. They have this need to produce something. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. We're going to talk about what they could
Okay.
be producing because I
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
just like, hey, listen, we have a need. We got these. We're going to start locking up people for frivolous things. Doesn't matter because we need a workforce to get this stuff done. So this was just a good shot to kind of get a sense of the scale. I thought that was really cool. There is some world building when you're talking about this show. Some of these establishing shots, some of these just laying things out the way that they are. It's not. It could have been filmed in a much more simple way. I think about Mandalorian season one. What was it, episode 5 or 6, where it's basically they're on a spaceship, but it's just like one hallway set, and it's just so good. It's very limited, very boxed in, but they do a lot with that one little set. Here, you're obviously seeing money just burn on screen. This is great. And then we have a time jump. We
Yeah.
have a time jump in this episode as far as Andor is concerned, 30 days later.
Yeah, that was the first time I've seen that in this
Yeah.
episode, and I think they needed to. There's a lot of things that I think are pretty interesting where, like, even the previous episode, it seems like the entire goal of the previous episode was to pivot into he's in prison, right? Like,
Yeah.
you take an entire episode to be like he's in prison, but there's all of this stuff that happens in the previous episode to kind of set that up, and I'm sure you'll get into it. There's flash sideways to those other storylines, right? To be like they don't know where
Absolutely.
Andor is. He's just missing. So no one knows he's in prison.
It was something to see that 30-day flash. And
Yeah.
they use this little bit of font here to kind of, I guess, spell it out so that there's no confusion. But the original transition was he's sitting there and there's this date, there's this little monitor in everybody's cell. He's in his cell right now, and it has how many days you have left. And so you see that just kind of fade from, it's 30 days are subtracted from his total. So it was a very subtle way to do it. I know they had to add this to make sure that everybody gets it, to get that a month has gone by, but I thought that
Right.
was really cool. And you could see his demeanor also changes. Now it's just like, well, I've been here 30 days. This is what you do. The feeding tubes on the wall was interesting. I mean, he's just eating sludge basically.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other inmates say, "Hey, well, if you do really well, if you win, if you're a top producer, they add flavor." So it's just like you're just eating just like protein paste, right? It's just disgusting. But it's just couldn't be any more bare bones, couldn't be any more basic. There's no pictures on the wall, there's no pillows, blankets, nothing, right? And then to drive that point home, the lower part of the slide, you see everybody just gets naked and they just walk into a room and they're just sprayed with this whatever disinfecting agent. It's
Disinfecting agent. Yeah.
just a dehumanizing. It's just that they're hitting with Febreze what they're doing, but it's just you can see this doesn't phase Andor at all. 30 days in, this is just what we do every day.
He has to. Like, there's no
Yeah,
choice. Like, you just,
yeah,
what are you gonna do? You could do what they're telling you to do or die.
yeah, and that's pretty much it. And we see the institutional. He's being institutionalized, right? This is just becoming normal life for him. It's
Right.
it's really kind of sad. Really kind of sad. we continue on with Andor's story. Remember, there is more of the episode. We're just going through Andor's part right now. We're getting close to the end here as far as Andor is concerned. So we're back, and this is 30 days later. He's part of the team. He's part of the crew. Andy Serkis's character is still kind of riding him, but every day they just assemble these parts. They assemble these pieces. One thing I wanted to kind of the upper part of the slide. One of the things they use in assembly, besides wrenches and all that, is a laser. Justin, is this a good idea to give an inmate a laser?
That's the thing, though. Like, there's no guards on the floor, and earlier in the episode, when Andor enters in, they all know routinely they have to stand up and put their hands on the head. I've never seen that. Have you? Like in a movie where there's a prison or something like that? Like they're like, "Yep, this is what we do." And there's no arguing, really. There's no soldiers like, "Hey, get back to work." It's this guy who's also an inmate, right? And he's only got like 200 days left or something like that.
Yeah,
9 months, something like that.
Less than a year, right?
Yeah, so he's looking forward to his release, and so he's trying to make sure his shop is doing its thing, producing whatever they're producing, and so they can give them the laser things because what are they going to do with it? Shoot each other with it? They're going to kill you instantly, right?
Exactly.
Actually, if you were to do that, they'd probably just kill the whole room.
Pretty much. But my brain is thinking of escape. So is the laser thing, is the guard that seems out of place? Are these like seeds they're planting for eventually splicing together some kind of a escape plan? I don't know, but it's really kind of interesting. It's really kind of cool.
I see where you're going.
What's the name of the Stallone movie? Is it Escape Plan where he goes into a
someone
prison?
Mentioned it earlier. Lockup.
Yeah. Lockup. Yeah. Where I thought about that too. Just kind of interesting way to kind of think about it. So for the moment, we're going to leave Andor with one thing.
Can I tell my theory first?
No.
Okay.
I want to preface this with, we talked about the floor, the electrification, whatever it is, right? I don't know if it's electricity, but it's something. And the thing about their dorms, when you go in, as long as the lights on the floor are white, you're good to go. You walk in, but you're supposed to get in the bunk, and when they turn red at night to prevent you from getting out, because if you step on that floor, you're done.
You're toast.
Well, then you have the psychology of that and being there so long. And unfortunately, Andor was also there to witness a death. You see the bottom part of the slide, the lights on the floor are red. You can see a figure in the background laying down. Towards the end of the episode, you have somebody actually it gets to them and they just kill themselves. They just jump on the floor and they just die. How did that hit you, Justin?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It emphasized how horrible it is that a man, decided to take his own life. So clearly what happened was he made a decision. They showed this scene where he's kind of standing up and looking down like he's going to jump off a building kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's
a good analogy.
And then you just hear, they don't necessarily show because of the gruesomeness of like this guy dying. So that's why it's like this long shot, and kind of like Psycho, like they don't show necessarily all the stab wounds, but like you can tell what's going on, right?
You know what's going on, yeah.
You know what happened. But even more so, like it's still in that PG where it's like they don't show it. And so again, it goes to emphasize like they're torturing these people to the point where the guy's like, I would rather, this is it. I can choose to just die, so I'll just do that. And then there's commotion, and it sounded like this is not the first time it's happened. They're like, who is it? It's like, oh, it's the tall, bald guy,
Yeah, we figured he was going to go, yeah. There's a comment, oh, we're going to have to smell this guy. It's just so normal for them to just have this happen. It's sad, but we're going to leave Andor's part of the story for now. We're going to come back to him at the very end in just a second. But there's other characters. There's not just Andor, even though the show's named Andor. We have some other characters. We have Serial, our best buddy, our friend.
Yes.
Frosted Flakes, Captain Crunch. He's evidently, this guy. So Justin, he just can't let it go. So he's in his space cubicle.
That's right.
And
we got David McIntosh here. That's right.
David McIntosh has been he's been dropping leaks and hints. He's been releasing caps, and he's been working. Not just doing his job though. Unfortunately, he's been submitting some reports over and over and over again because he's in documents and he's trying to find Cassian Andor. So the top slide you see Imperial guards coming in to question this guy because he's been making a bunch of trouble. He's making a big fuss. And then he is taken to some interview room, and our buddy Deidre is there,
Mm-hmm.
and she's interrogating him, but she has some questions regarding Ferrix because remember she's trying to follow up on that. She knows that there was that the Wayfinder we call whatever it was,
Yeah.
that very sensitive
Star
piece
Path
of
unit. Yeah.
Star Path, yeah, that piece was found there, and they're trying to get to the bottom of that. And he can provide a little bit of information, but he just can't let it go. Justin, what do you think about our buddy Cyril?
Yeah, I think it was a great scene with him, right? He's being interrogated and he
Mm-hmm.
wants to help. He wants to be a part of it, right? And so while Deidre is like she's uncovering it all. She's unraveling it. There's no real like misstep going on. It's not like she's creating some type of it's not like she's explaining things incorrect. She's slowly unraveling the mystery. And so she's interrogating Cyril, but she basically figures out pretty quickly this guy's not useful to me, and so just kind of brushes him off and says, You're gonna stop going in and querying in the database, looking for Andor. You're gonna stop doing that.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna stop, making our alarms to go off. And there's this moment which was really cool as she's
Yes.
walking away. He stands up and he lays it on her.
Uh-huh.
He basically tries to pitch him joining her. And I think that was a great scene for him as a character and an actor, but she's still not. She's like, nah, you're out. You're
He's
not
got
part
the
of.
power of his conviction, right? Good for better or for worse. He is absolutely just bound by his conviction. He bound by the law and justice and doing the right thing. And that is what really, really is driving him. He's absolutely just fired up about it. He just can't let it go. One of my theories, I guess, is not going to wash, where I thought that maybe he would help the rebels. I mean, I guess it's possible
It's
that it could
possible.
could still
I
happen.
mean, it feels like they're gonna interact again, and then she'll finally say, "Okay, fine, you can do a crappy job or
Yeah,
some
see,
crappy position," and then maybe he'll become important when he gets the opportunity.
that's
It
I'm
seems like the
definitely
more
leaning towards that.
likely path.
That's definitely more. That's absolutely probably the way it's going to go. But I
This
would
is
love
like
to
the
be wrong.
slow burn of Surreal getting the job,
Getting his job back, yeah, or the job, or even a
the
promotion.
job.
Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah.
Um, we got some bad news for our buddy Cassian Andor. Even though he's got his little his alias, and he thinks he's undercover, and he thinks even though he's in jail, he still thinks he's good because no one knows where he is. Uh, Surreal, basically, I mean, just waves the flag and draws attention to the fact that, hey, this is who I was looking for. Here's his information. Gives that over to Deidre and the big wigs at the Empire. And I mean, you're looking at it, the entire. This is the room where everybody gathers, all the generals, right? And they are looking at Cassian Andor's hologram front and center. He is. I mean, listen, they may not have the right name, but they know the face. It's not looking good. One of the points that he made in his interrogation, he's like, "Listen, I never got to see my superior's report because I wasn't allowed to. I
That's
had to
right.
just
Hmm.
sign it and go on because they were just trying to sweep this under the rug. There's so much that you don't know." And what he does give her the name of Cassian Andor, and that's how she got that. But he's reading the report, and it's hitting him wave after wave. Like this is just, you know, he just can't stand it because he wants to go after he wants justice. He wants Cassian to be prosecuted because he took two lives, and he just can't let that go. And he's also conflicted by the system he swore to serve, and
Hmm.
be a part of is just throwing him off to the side. And this is when, like you said, he stands up with conviction. He's like, "Listen, I could be a great asset. I
Yep.
was I was overly ambitious, sure, but I could be a great asset. I could really help you." She doesn't really take him up on that, but to your point, for now,
For
what are your
now,
thoughts?
I think for now, I don't. I mean, I guess there's a scenario like you were kind of alluding to that he keeps on getting rejected, and then somehow it's exposed to him that he's how horrible, perhaps because there could be
Hmm.
little
Hmm.
bubbles going on where he doesn't real like he if he learns how Cassian is being tortured in this environment, maybe he would feel like sure murder or whatever, but this far. I didn't know that labor
That's a
camps
good point.
essentially like
That's a
uh,
good point.
basically learning that he works for Nazi Germany. At
It's
some
kind of
point, is he going to
yeah.
be like, whoa, I thought we stood for freedom or whatever, and it's
Mhm.
like, no, we don't.
And so once more, Surreal just doesn't make the cut. He doesn't get what he wants, even though he's trying and he's got the power of his convictions. He can't come back to the fold. He can't get what he wants. He can't be a part of it. He's going to have to go back to that space cubicle.
Hmm.
Poor guy. But there's another character we need to catch up with. So Surreal is done for right now.
You better go to Bix.
We're going to Mon Mothma
Okay,
first.
fine.
We're
Bix
going.
is next, right?
We have to go to Mon Mothma first. Yeah, we're going to
Okay.
see Bix absolutely
Okay.
because we all love Bix.
Yeah.
Things are getting a little interesting there. It's very easy to think of her storyline, especially within this episode, as just sort of family drama. I've got
Yeah.
a couple slides up here. You see the husband up top. He's suspect of her relationship with a representative of her home planet, their
Hmm.
home planet.
Hmm.
Now we know as the audience that they're talking about the rebellion. She's not letting him know 100% what she's into, but they're that's what they're talking about. They're keeping all that secret. But he's suspect. A husband that really wasn't concerned for the most part is now fired up. Maybe he's like, hey, what's going on? Also, bottom left, you see the daughter insinuating kind of the same thing. Wow, you sure are here a lot.
Hmm.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go find my dad. See you later. So there's that angle going on, but the bottom right part of the slide, and this may be kind of the bigger issue, and this is the part that is intriguing on maybe a different level. It's applicable to real life, but not in a forced way.
Hmm.
Once again, excuse the pun. We know that the emperor took over, and the republic became an empire.
Right.
At the beginning of episode 4, Grand Moff Tarkin says that the Empire has disbanded the Senate. So we know that at some point the Senate will be completely disbanded and all the galaxy's representatives are going to be gone. Total control will happen in episode 4. It hasn't happened just quite yet. This is the slippery slope. This is how you get there. And the conversation that these representatives are having are talking about, well, the emperor just wants to protect us, and so we just have to give up some of our freedom so that we can be protected. And the conversation is like, well, really, is the threat that bad that we have to give up so much? And that was interesting.
Yeah.
And to cap that off, you have the guy raising his glass. He's just so wealthy, so disconnected. He's just when he's asked about what his fears are, he's like, "Oh, I fear that I'm going to run out of this drink." Ha 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 ha. But you can see that, and that to me is more interesting than the family drama. Justin,
Yeah.
what do you think about all that?
I didn't catch the depth that you did on this, but I'm really enjoying it. I think this is they dropped Palpatine's name at least one time in some of the scenes, and so
Yes, they did.
kind of perked up for that. And yeah, I think this part they didn't give much, right? There wasn't a lot going on that you could kind of see. Yeah, the relationships were forming, and I think there was something about the money is still unlocked, and there's some struggle to get it more unlocked. So there's still that going on.
Absolutely,
More family
yeah.
tension. What is she up to? I think it was cool to kind of keep that storyline pacing and moving forward. But this was kind of like a small part of the episode, right? They didn't focus on it a lot.
Probably the smallest part, but at the
Yeah.
same time, there were some. It was peeks and glimpses into probably the bigger issues. The family drama stuff is fine, and I get that. It's easy to see that confusion maybe between the family members and the fact that mom's doing something, but what is she really doing, and not knowing what her intentions are. I'm more interested in the political landscape, how they act, how people that were free, a republic, at some point eventually get to the point where they just give up all power. They give up all freedom, basically.
Yeah.
To an emperor, to someone who, we see it as in the original movies came out, it was simple. It was good and evil. It was black and white. But
Right.
this is that road to get there. And that's very interesting. And I find that very meaningful, and I find it rewarding. But one thing I find a little bit more rewarding, a little more meaningful, is a $10 super chat from Paul saying, "Hey, thanks for doing this show, boys. What do you think is the arc of Luthen's assistant? Why do they introduce her to us? Theories. We're actually heading there in just a second.
We're going to
but
talk
you know
about
what?
Clea?
Do you want to talk about it now, or do we want to? Let's wait. You want to wait? Let's wait, because I got a couple more slides.
I mean, it's a $10 super chat. Maybe,
but it is a $10 super
What
chat.
if you jump to Clea?
Okay, you know what, Paul? you know what, Paul? Your $10 super chat demands it. So we will do that. So we're finished up with Mon Mothma. We're going to skip over a slide because of your donation. We're going to go right to the meat of the some would say the meat of the episode, really, because while Andor's story was detailed, a lot going on there. There's some real shakeup going on over here. So we have Luthen and we have Clea. And Clea is much more than just a shopkeep. She's just more than the front of the house.
That's clear.
It's man, we've seen in a couple more episodes. She's definitely very much entrenched in the inner workings of the rebellion, and she's definitely the hard-nosed edge where we thought that maybe Luthen was. She definitely is. In this scene, we have her receiving a transmission from Ferrix, from Bix. There's some concern about, hey, listen, we got to get in touch with Andor because his mom is sick. And we see her ready to sort of cut that communication, cut that tie completely, get rid of that.
Right.
We have Luthen's like, no, wait, that's our only link. That's our only connection to Andor. We got to find this guy. We got to get back in touch with him. Don't sever that tie. And Clea is very much at the point where she's like, listen, you're slipping. You can't let your personality, you can't become attached to these people, right? You've got to be able to cut ties and let this go. So she's keeping her hard edge while maybe he is slipping or maybe softening just a little bit. So we see that going on. But it is because she's so hard edged, to Paul's point, does she have some other motive? Justin, what do you think?
I think so. I think that's what they're leading on. She looks evil.
She does. That's evil stepmom all the way.
So here's what I'm thinking. So there's theories that Clea is Leia, but that can't be because this lady is not a teenager.
Very
and
true. Yes.
Leia would be a teenager.
She'd be like 14, yeah.
So what I'm thinking is she's not like Leia. She's the opposite of Leia.
Ooh, okay.
So I think she's evil. She's like and the rebellion is forming, right? So
sure.
Who, from her point of view, she may think everything that they're up to is an evil plan that she's a part of because she's an evil. So it'll be a conflict when they realize Luthen is, we're hurting people and we're stealing money or whatever, but it's like, he comes out and it's more like Robin Hood, like we're trying to save people, right? That's why we're stealing money. We're trying to save people. And she's like, no. Yeah, she's like a Sith or something.
Agent of chaos, maybe. I mean, seriously. I mean, just wanting to just tear it up, burn it down with no real plan to rebuild.
I mean, let me throw it out there. Like, imagine if the only lightsaber they ever show in Andor is a scene where she turns it on, kills Luthen, sheathes it, and then goes and lies to everyone and was like, he died in the fight.
She's like an Inquisitor.
It could be.
That would be nuts. That could be.
Why is she so harsh?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that lightsaber. She does seem emotionally detached for sure. There's definitely a lot going on there. But he's soft, maybe trying to retain his human connection, maybe getting a little bit old, maybe slipping. But I think that there's a lot that's good there that we should keep our humanity. But unfortunately, she gets her way. And what happens here, Justin?
So this is Bix trying to reach out to Luthen, right?
Absolutely.
And so while that is happening, Clea is receiving that message, and she's negotiating with Luthen what to do with that message. And Luthen is kind of implying we should use her. She's there, and Clea's like, no, I got Val over there and Cinta, and so they're able to do that, and they're kind of negotiating like what could happen. But she ends up winning. Like we're gonna go ahead and sever that connection, and then basically Bix gets a dial tone, and she's basically trying to do Morse code more again, but now we know no one's hearing. But I want to go back to that for a second with the Clea thing, because here's the thing with Clea, right? So what is she up to? We don't know, and then we got Luthen, and there's that scene where we saw Clea look different, and that was in the previous episode.
Yes, hair was down, completely different. Almost didn't recognize her. Yeah,
I watched this video. It was really, really cool. It may have been this guy Generation Tech. He's got like two channels. One that's like a lot of like 1-2 minute videos, and then he's got a main channel. I think it was him. I can't really remember, but it took it from a film moving someone who makes films, right? Like a filmmaker. He explains like there's this common way to frame a scene. Okay.
Yeah.
And he talks about it's like where you divide the scene into thirds, and you actually put a character on this part of the screen, you put a character on that part of the screen, and they look at each other, not look at the camera, right? And so it's a common thing. And the guy like starts showing examples, and he has lines drawn about all, and then he even shows Andor, previous episodes of Andor where they're communicating with each other, and those characters are framed right in that pattern, right? Gotcha. So he's establishing these filmmakers know what they're doing. This is like 101 if you take film class, is what he says. But he goes, that scene with Clea and Val where they're talking,
yes,
they did it the opposite way. It's you see Clea on I can't remember, I think it's the left side, but she's looking to the left and there's dead space on the where her back is. And then when they show the opposite person, it's kind of like this higher camera angle, and they show Val on the right side where that line is, but there's empty space behind you. And he's saying that's why it's so tense in that episode. It's because they framed it inverted purposely to make you feel like something's anxious going on.
Yeah.
And I think what it is, this is my theory now. That video, he's just explaining the filmmaking side of it. It's because Clea is an evil person. They're trying to like right? very, very subtly introduce that when she's dressed like this and not just a shopkeeper, she's a Sith.
She's evil. Yeah.
She's evil.
I didn't know that was her, honestly. And when I saw her, I didn't realize that was the same character.
I guess if maybe they're on Coruscant, and like if you're in Coruscant, you have to dress up. Because both Val and Clea were like dressed to the nines.
Dressed to the
right?
nines. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, so once again, thank you for the $10 super chat. I hope that answered some of your questions as far as what we think her motives could be or couldn't be. Who exactly knows? Let's jump back to Bix for a second.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Zero Hero's latest. This is his part.
Luthen says the King of Crystal is more important to him.
Kind of.
The kind of crystal. I haven't drank that much. It's just like K's and D's blend together. the kind of crystal is more important to him than what it actually costs. Why would that be? Is it either his kind of crystal, this kind of crystal, a friend's, or more than likely his child's? Really? Okay.
I think so. What I'm taking away from this Zero Hero is, wait a second. Everything you guys are talking about with Clea and Luthen, now throw in the crystal. It's her crystal, and she is going to use it to build her lightsaber and then use it to kill him.
What are you doing? That's insane. So we're going to see a blue-white lightsaber blade, a bluish-whitish.
She's like, puts it in.
And you're building it in the back, and maybe she has an old lightsaber, and she's going to swap out the kyber because maybe it didn't have a kyber. That's crazy. It's possible. It's definitely that's going to happen next episode for sure.
Yeah, next episode.
Jumping back to Bix, one of our favorite characters. Absolutely. I'm a fan. Huge fan. Big fan. We jump back to Ferrix, and we see that, Mom Marva is, she wasn't in the best of health. She's not getting any better since Andor left. She's out and about. She's trying to open doors and passageways so that the rebels can get in, and that's why she's hurting herself. She's falling. People are finding her, bringing her back to her cold house. I'm not sure why the apartment is cold. Can't they get her a heater? I don't know. She always seems to be frigid and freezing. So we have Bix there, the two characters that are just tending to her. Yeah, we know that you're not our mom, but we care about you. We're concerned. And this prompts Bix's call to Luthen to try to reach out and find Andor. One thing we didn't know, though, we have Vel and we have Cinta still there. That one not still there, but they're on this planet. They've taken some information, assumingly they got that from Luthen, and they've traveled to Ferrix to try to find out. Is Andor there? Is he going to come back? What's going on? So they're kind of scoping out.
They don't know he's in prison.
No one knows where Andor is. Using the fake name, took some money and ran, and maybe he's going to come back, maybe not. But then you also see more of the relationship between Vale and Cinta, and how disconnected Cinta is, and how she's like, listen, the rebellion comes first. You and me, we can have our thing, but the rebellion comes first for sure. And so she elects to stay there and just do like a stakeout. I'm just going to watch Marva's place. I'm going to keep an eye on it. And then Vale's going to go do other things, other spy things. I'm not exactly sure, but that's kind of where that is. Anything that stood out to you in this in these few scenes here?
Yeah, you could see how Marva, I thought that was the best scene. Everything else was just confusion. It was kind of like, what is Vel up to? Senta, we know,
More
the
questions.
audience knows that they're not going to find Andor there, and they won't find any clues of where Andor is unless there's something the audience wasn't shown. Where
Absolutely.
like then there's a flash or a reveal or something that he said, I'm gonna go to Star Wars Miami,
Yeah.
and I'm going on vacation. But we don't know that. He kept it secret. Or there could be something like, well, okay, we got to find him. Let's find out what port he went after. So they
Track
go
it,
into,
yeah.
oh, I totally know like what name he was going to use, and then they could track him, right? And then they follow that and be like, oh, that person went to prison. Okay, so maybe just on the spot here, maybe the next few episodes they'll be, oh, maybe it's not an escape, maybe it's a rescue. We don't
There you
know.
go.
Everyone
Characters from
on
the
the
first and
internet
second trilogies come together.
they come together and they rescue. That'd be crazy, but
No,
could happen.
That's not actually. It's not really that crazy when you think about it. That could
Yeah,
definitely work.
or maybe both.
Maybe both. Could
Yeah.
be interesting. But yeah, so we got Cinta on the stakeout. Vale is obviously conflicted emotionally because of her relationship, and having to, serve the rebellion and all that. So there's a lot of character stuff going on, a lot of wartime stuff that people have to deal with. So
sure.
a lot of struggles for sure. Kind of getting a look into that. So we see that Luthen is on a mission.
Yeah, this was cool.
This was very.
They were
cool.
like,
This,
let us just give you this little
dude.
carrot.
So
they've been pulling it and be
Oh
like,
my-
you can eat
so-
it. There you go, good
Oh,
boy.
man. I was eating those sugar cubes and I was just so excited. So he goes off world. He's had his spat with Clea. Not a spat, but just sort of a reestablishing kind of, who's in charge type thing. I'm not slipping. But then he jumps in his ship, takes off, goes off world, and he meets with somebody. Now, before we get to who he meets with, he travels to Segra Milo. Segra? Yeah, sure. Sega Milo. And one thing I loved, and I don't know if you saw this, maybe it's just me being weird. This is pre-rebellion, so we see X-wings before the rebellion, and they look blacked out. They look stealth. They look like
they look sick, man. They look awesome.
So nasty, just so cool, like silver and black, and like
I want one.
I absolutely want one of these. These look really great. So kind of pre-rebellion, before all the red and stuff and all the emblems are on there.
Yep.
This is what somebody was using to kind of run and gun stealth missions and all that. And who was he meeting? Who did he sneak off world to meet? Saw Gerrera. And you're talking, I just wanted to say, Forrest Whitaker and Stellan Skarsgård in this scene acted their asses off.
They really did.
Go for it. Tell me, Justin.
Look, I can't really, because I don't have the intellect to be able to follow along or repeat the type of level they were communicating at.
I don't either.
But it was really cool because it shows that, like, even Luthen, right? When he, depending on who he's communicating with, it seems as though like he's mirroring their behavior. He's on their level.
Yeah.
Goes meets up with Forrest Whitaker, and he's like, "Oh, we're doing a little, like, I don't know." He's keeping up with them, and they kind of like, they're bartering, they're negotiating, they're, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. They're trying to do some type of trade negotiation. You do this for me, I'll do this for you. I know what you want. Give me what I need, and you can have that thing for free, right? The writing was great,
Yeah. The writing, the delivery for Forrest Whitaker, no matter what I don't care what he's saying, he could read me the back of a cereal box, and he is so into it. he's talking about these, he's rattling off these Star Wars names, and I'm just like, oh wow, this is like this. He could be on CNN. I'm like, this is news. This is actually happening right now. He was so there in that moment and representing his. He's on the side. He's not. He doesn't want to be part of a formal rebellion. He wants to do his thing. He'll take the parts and pieces and scraps and go. He's going to keep taking his fight to the Empire. Well, you can see that Lucen is trying to get him to bend a little bit, to join. We've got to come together. We can't just be a bunch of groups out there taking little pot shots at the Empire. We've got to come together. He even admitting to the point where he said, who Saul Guerrero says to Luthen, who are you? I don't even know who you are. Who are you?
Right.
And he says, I'm a coward. I'm a coward that's afraid that the Empire is going to grow to a point where we can't do a damn thing to stop them. So we got to act now.
Right.
But just the two of these guys going back and forth, I just had to say that was just, man, if you don't see any other part of the episode, go to this part where these two, it's like they're two idealistic people.
Right.
Talking about their staunch, just advocates of their position, going at it. They don't really come to an agreement.
Yeah.
But in a way that was also satisfying.
It was, because the one guy's like, I don't work with anyone. He's like, we need to build a team. And he's like, I'm not a team player, But
it's so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
So you can see, like, this is what it takes to build a rebellion. You got to convince people, you got to persuade people that are strong and powerful to join you.
No, absolutely.
It's great. It's a great episode.
Not cut and dry, not just black and white and cut it up and here it is. Couple more things to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
The last scene, unfortunately, we see our girl Bix. She's in a bit of she's in a bad state. She's about to be interrogated.
That's right.
Deidre does something here. They were interrogating the guy that works for the place where she goes and does the Morse code, right? Whatever that is, that junkyard, whatever she goes there. They were interrogating that guy.
Yeah.
And they're about to bring Bix in. And so one of the guards says to Deidre, Deidre's character, hey, she's on her way. Do you want us to go ahead and get this guy out of here? And Deidre's like, no, I want her to see him.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Bix comes in, she's like, oh, what are you doing? Get him out of here. She flips a switch, and it was all again. She's like 4D chess, right? She's
psychological warfare.
Absolutely. What did you think about this exchange, Justin?
Yeah, it was scary because, again, this is the side of the Empire that's super scary. These people are not Siths. These are not Darth Vader, but they're just lieutenants, generals. I don't know what Deidre is, right? But
yeah,
they're scary people. They abuse people. They torture people to get information. But they've been told to stop whatever this rebellion is at all costs. And we're seeing it in live action in detail. That's Andor.
We're seeing it play out. And it's yeah, listen, I hate my girl Bix to go through any kind of pain whatsoever.
That's right.
This doesn't look good. So that's almost the final scene. The last scene is our buddy Andor. He's back in the shop. Everybody's working. They're knocking out their quotas. They're working on these parts. They're working on these parts.
Death Star parts.
And that's where the episode ends. Did you want to get into something there, Justin? Go ahead.
Okay, so maybe it's Death Star parts. Maybe it's the side of the X-wing. I've heard that theory. That it's like where the actual like solar panels like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the TIE fighters. Yeah, the
TIE fighters.
Yeah, gotcha,
right.
gotcha.
Not X-wings, TIE fighters.
What do you think?
I don't really know.
Okay.
I think they will reveal. There was a theory in the chat that was earlier. It was pretty good. It was he's building parts on the Death Star that will ultimately kill him in 5 years. You know?
Yeah.
You know, whatever
that's
parts.
Horrible. Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's poetic, right? Wow.
Right.
Yeah. The thing that eventually kills him is the thing he's working on.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead. I know you have some
Star
theory.
Destroyer, is that what killed it? I can't remember the movie Andor. What killed the planet?
It was the Death Star shooting. They fired their laser at like half power or something, quarter power. So
fry the That's right. They were testing it. Of
They
course.
were testing it. Yeah,
They
so
fried the people on it, but they didn't destroy the
They
planet.
didn't
Is that
blow
right?
up the whole planet. They
Okay.
didn't test it at full power until episode 4. That was the way they got around
That's
that.
right.
Yeah. So I know you have a theory to get
Okay,
into.
we hit 1 hour. I'm saying my theory.
Go for it. Go right now.
Okay, here it is.
Here we go. Here it is.
I've decided to ask it this way.
Okay.
Just a few minutes ago, I was like, "Oh, okay. Let me ask you, Fox, is murder wrong?"
Murder.
Murder.
As defined. Yes, murder is wrong. Absolutely.
If I murdered someone, would you expect there to be consequences?
I would absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stealing money is wrong, right?
Yes.
If I stole millions of dollars, would you expect there to be consequences?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you can't get away with that. No way.
Is going on vacation wrong?
No, vacation's fine.
If I was on vacation and I was just heading to the store, should there be any consequences?
Of course not. That's just you going to the store.
Okay, so Andor, the series so far has shown us that Andor can murder 2 people without consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he can steal a whole bunch of money without consequences.
Oh, what are you doing?
But if he's going to the store and there's someone else that did something wrong and he's mistaken to be a part of that crew and he says, "I'm just on vacation," there's consequences. He goes to the worst prison in the galaxy.
Uh-huh.
A concentration camp? No, like a, what do you call it? Like a labor camp, you know?
Yeah, labor camp.
He's
right.
building weapons for the Empire that will ultimately kill
Uh-huh.
people that are innocent, right? It's almost as if there's some thing in the galaxy, right? That is
Right.
that is like controlling the consequences, would you say?
Yes.
It's like driving Andor to be like, you know, like coincidences, or, you know, it's almost like there's some driving force. It's almost like the force is driving the consequences. So this is a theory that Disney may not ever show.
Okay.
But you can agree and accept that perhaps the force is saying, "Andor, you left your mother, who was trying to join the rebellion, and you went on vacation. You go to prison now."
Yeah.
The force is actually in Andor.
I'm digging that.
So
I'm digging that.
I give credit to this theory that came from the Generation Tech that I was watching. He had a video that he describes this consequences thing, but he has no conclusion. And he was like, "I don't know." And I was like, "It's the force. It's the force."
It makes sense. I mean, okay, so he kills bad guys, okay, in self-defense. We know that as the audience members. He steals from the evil empire, so we sort of associate that as a moral good or a moral.
No, but the
okay,
force is like, yes, that's what you need to do.
Yes, you can get. I'll let you get away with that.
The wheels or whatever are helping him go down to the path that's gonna, because is it perhaps showing that Anakin, yes, while he was the chosen one, and then Luke and him, you know, ultimately destroy.
Yeah.
There's still this other force that's trying to drive the outcome to happen. And Andor is actually a part of that. And when Andor is going in the right direction, he's protected. But he goes in the wrong direction, they're like, "You go to prison."
No, you're not. I mean, what do they say in? Okay, that was weird. I did not do that on purpose, but it could be the force. Pretty sure it was the force. Was that the force, Justin?
The force is strong with this one. I don't know. It just all of a sudden said you're disconnected.
I have no idea. Yeah, I'm back. We're back. I love that. I love that.
I thought you would.
In Rogue One, they had I am one with the force.
That's right, the guy. That's right. And the force is one with me, yeah.
And the force one with me, because you had the blind guy, you know, and it was Donnie Yen, I think was the actor's name. Very, very good actor. And I thought that was
so
a great
that
way
established you don't have to be a part of a Jedi, the Sith to have the Force help
You
you
can
with
be
things.
force sensitive, even though you're
Yeah.
not a force
Yeah, I
wielder
don't
or a
think
force user.
necessarily that
Right.
Andor is Force sensitive, right? It's
Right.
just the Force is helping him.
Exactly.
And,
I think
and
that
I think it
that's
would be corny for them to ever reveal that. But
okay. But you and
if
I
you
both
think
know
about it, it makes sense.
it could be revealed in a way. Not show me, don't tell me. So if there's some way they could reveal that,
They
not
just would
don't
do
just spell it
music
out.
all of a sudden, like, yeah.
I'd be like, oh, that would be crazy.
Oh, it's
People's
the
heads would
Force.
explode. It's a farce. It's I don't know what it is. It's his. Does Andor have a Dagobah moment where he walks into the cave and instead of seeing Darth Vader, he sees something else? And
Oh,
not that he goes on Dagobah, but he has a moment similar to that. It's an awakening. Something has to happen for Andor to fully embrace the rebellion. It hasn't happened yet.
dude, you want
It
you want
happens
my
eventually.
next? It's very short. This is my next theory. It's super short.
Hit me with it. Come on, we got plenty of time. Let's go.
So this is an origin story for Andor,
Yes, yes, it is.
and what they're actually doing is
Mhm.
every trilogy is another origin story, and they're basically like, "Do you like this origin story? Okay, oh wait, let's do another one. Okay, you don't like that? Okay, let's do another
Choose your own
one.
adventure.
Right, but do you know what this origin story is similar to?
What's that?
It's Iron Man. This is the Iron Man origin story. So
Okay,
he's going to
I'm with you.
escape, kind
Yes,
of like Iron Man.
clutches. Okay, using
He's
his
gonna
wits.
build something.
If he builds a suit, I'm gonna lose my
He's
mind.
gonna be like dunk, dunk,
Dun, dun, dun,
dunk,
dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that would be so incredible. That would be awesome.
and he just blows everybody away.
I
He's
mean,
like, "I'm out of here."
I'm looking for that sort of because he's been understated. That triumphant sort of that point that he embraces this, right? Like for real, and just takes it on. He's like, oh, I'm sold. I'm in it now. I'm all or nothing, right? That point has to happen at some point for him, and that would be cool. That would be great. I have less. I mean, now by comparison, my theory is kind of lame, I guess. But I'll go ahead and share with you anyway. So, a lot of people have been talking about what are they building? What is this? What are these things? What is going on with this stuff? It's weird. Why are they making so many of them, Justin? I mean, what is so? It's how many? What do we have? If
Ooh, interesting.
we count the legs. How many? Is it six? That's six. It's an octagon. Oh, I guess maybe. I don't know. It gets you thinking. It gets you thinking, Justin, about certain types of construction, spherical construction. Let me give you an
Okay.
example. The Venetian in Vegas. This picture was taken in 2021 to be completed in
Oh.
2023. If you look at the little picture I have taken, I exploded this view and
Oh
put it up on the
my
right.
gosh.
If you look at that cross member, that six-sided piece in the middle, I mean, that would be a way you would form the skeleton, right,
Oh
of
my
a
gosh.
sphere. And why would they need so many? Because they're making kind of a big sphere.
Yeah.
I think that this could actually be that, and we could see that this is actually part of the Death Star. And like you said, with the Force, do they even say it, or is it just sort of implied? Maybe they show it in the background as part of the construction, and maybe that's all we see. I would like that to allow your audience to discover that.
Yeah.
That would
So
be really cool.
I wonder, I don't know in the
Mhm.
timeline in Star Wars Rebel or in this period of time, did they ever show the Death Star? Do you know? And how many states have we actually seen the Death Star in canon? Right? Like,
So in canon, if you look at Episode 3, the very end of Revenge of the Sith, you see a partially constructed Death Star. Very, very preliminary. I think it's really just the outline. If you look at the end of the show, the end of the movie, you see that. We see the blueprints in Episode 2. I think it was Episode 2. So, yeah, the Attack of the Clones. I
I see.
believe
Right,
that's
right,
there.
right,
But
right.
that was just a hologram. It wasn't actual construction. We saw a partially constructed Death Star in Episode 7, Return of the Jedi. And then we saw The finished construction in Rogue One, they're just putting the giant satellite dish into the actual. But at that point, it was basically complete. That was like the last step. It was done. So partial construction is going to be episode 3 and episode 7, really, as far as something currently under construction.
Yeah, I like this theory. It's a very good theory because I'm looking at pictures of I just had it a second ago. The pictures of episode 3 scene.
Yes.
Let me pull that up. And it's like it's the skeleton, right? So
yes.
It you still need. You can share it if you like. It's you'd still need all those pieces that you're talking about to complete the construction. If you're saying those pieces are to connect the dots, right?
Absolutely.
Just the extra. What do you call it? The infrastructure.
The cross bracing
Yeah.
for between decks is what I'm thinking. So you have this.
So it could be a
obviously
little, yeah.
planet size, right, or moon size. You know, so you take that theory, very small scale.
Oh, that's no
and then
moon.
blow it up to that. That's no moon. So
Could
good.
be.
Maybe.
Maybe
that would
it's
be
too
kinda
on the
neat.
nose. I don't know, but I think they
It could be. It's you know,
Could be.
it's interesting. I think that at this point, though, and in the timeline, I think it makes sense. You're not going to mess with canon. Obviously, this is the tangible part of Star Wars. The mechanical side stuff has to be built. You know, spaceships
dude.
are built.
It's got to be the Death Star because
You think? I think it has to be, right?
it's like they're under pressure. There's like this. You
Yeah.
have to do it quickly.
Yeah.
So they're trying to speed up because they need the Death Star, right? If
Mhm.
it was just for like X-wings, what's the rush?
yeah. We
Like,
we
do
make
you
those
need
all day
more
long.
X-wings to take over the galaxy? You need the Death Star to take over the
we should be
galaxy.
the Death Star is the ultimate weapon, and to talk about when we're talking about Mon Mothma and those conversations, and they're referencing Palpatine, the Emperor, and security and safety, and that's that would be a big selling point, right? This ultimate weapon that could really keep us safe, a nuke, quote unquote, like a nuke. The deterrent is what keeps the threat away, right? Oh, we got this big powerful weapon, so you better not mess with us. So I want to see that argument. I want to see, and I've never thought about before until this show. How much did the Senate know about this secret weapon under development? Did they have any clue?
I think
Or
no
did it have a
idea.
code name? I mean, we saw a little bit in Rogue One, but it's just I wonder if there were people signing off on it because Palpatine hadn't taken over 100% yet. He still had to use the Senate. They were there. They were functioning government. How did he get sliding stuff under the radar? Did he give it? Did he just say it was this or say it was that? Did anybody know anything? I'm curious.
Check it out.
Yeah.
So remember the theory from Clerks? I think it's Clerks, right? Or maybe it's
No, it's Clerks. Yeah, talking about the
Clerks.
The contractors working on the Death Star.
They weren't contractors; they were prisoners.
That's right. That's right.
This is how no one knew about it because no one was being paid. They just
right.
randomly went to different planets and arrested people, and then they forced them to build the Death Star. So when the people were blown up, if they were still contractors, they were trying to complete it. Yes, they were innocent people, but they weren't just contractors trying to make a living.
They were prisoners.
They were prisoners.
Locked up for frivolous things like
Heck,
Andor.
for all we know, that half of the Death Star may have floors that electrocute you.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? There could be a whole section.
It's like, keep assembling.
Just keep going, for God's sake, stop, keep going. But then can you imagine like spacewalking? Like you have a full suit, right? But you're barefoot. How's that work?
The entire outside of the Death Star, you can be electrocuted.
You're barefoot astronauts. Justin, so we've gone through it all. We've gone through our crazy theories. Any thoughts about, final thoughts about this episode 8?
I absolutely loved this episode, and this is the only communication that you and I had. You messaged me, I had finished it, and I think I said it. This is great, and then you said,
I was like,
I'm really digging this, right?
That's it.
But no details. And dude, first of all, I've gotten so much out of this podcast doing it with you. It was more than I've ever thought it would come out of it. One, part of it was, just you and I getting more experience trying to do something that's way out of our comfort zone. We're both intimidated to ever talk about Star Wars because there's Star Wars theory, or there's all these content creators that are like real big, and we're still Star Wars fan, but we don't. I don't know the lore. of Star Wars, but that doesn't mean I'm not a fan, right?
Absolutely.
And then doing it with a friend is really awesome, and chatting about it every single week. And then those of you in the chat that come to hang out, that's very special. I really, really appreciate it. And so it's tough because every single episode that comes in, because we're doing this content, I am watching this episode way deeper than
Absolutely.
than I normally would. And so I enjoy that. And this question, did you guys watch Tales of the Jedi? I haven't watched that yet, but
Not yet.
we could binge it. I don't know if you want to do that. We could, if you had
Why
time to
not?
binge it would be kind of fun.
We could tack that on to another episode of our show if you wanted, and
That's right.
just as a special little extra, maybe. I would be down with that. Yeah, absolutely. We will discuss Zero Hero. We will discuss and get back to you. Pay attention to our social medias. Absolutely. But I'm going to echo your sentiments. I'm having fun with this. More fun than I've had with Star Wars in a little while. It's been kind of mired in other stuff, so it's nice to see them kind of get
when
back.
You
to
share it with a friend, it makes it even more enjoyable.
And when you share, I mean, when you're into it, you're digging it. When you're talking about it with somebody else, you're bouncing it off of somebody else, and you're getting excited about it. When you're glad that they're not touching some parts of Star Wars, just sort of stay within this wheelhouse, right? This sandbox. It's really, really great. And yeah, you do watch it. I watch it with a deeper, like a focus, right? Really paying attention, trying to get to the bottom of it. And it's a lot of fun. And it's absolutely a blast doing this with you and doing this. Go ahead.
One more thing. This week has been really fun, and I'm going to tease those in the audience because I know we have a lot of Arcade 1-Up fans in here as well.
Yes, we do.
I won't tell you why, but it doesn't have to do with this podcast. But this week, I emailed Star Wars Theory, and I'm really hoping he responds back.
Dude, absolutely.
Can you think of why I would email Star Wars Theory?
I have a couple. Are
you putting the dots together?
I'm putting it. You know what? This is a thing that I think you and I share with Star Wars Theory. We all three of us have something in common, at least in our background.
Wouldn't it be cool?
Wouldn't that be neat?
Wouldn't it be cool if he was a part of some type of like reveal? Okay, I said
wouldn't
too much
that
already.
Wouldn't that be nifty?
If John's
watching, you know what? That's what this guy's crazy. Don't listen to anything he's saying. He's just talking Star Wars is what he's talking, and we're talking Star Wars.
I'll put that teaser
with all of you.
He hasn't responded yet, but I really hope he reads my email.
That'd be really good. Give him a link to the show. We're hey, listen, we're carrying the flag where most people aren't. But with that being said, Justin, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you everybody in the chat for joining us. And
it's empty.
What happened?
It's empty.
You know what that means?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
And it happened to me too. It's just the weirdest thing, but unfortunately, that means we're gonna have to wrap the show up because when we're out of drink, we're out of talk. We just can't function without it. Justin, obviously, thank you so much for being here and being a partner with me going through this journey and talking about this show. I'm having a little more fun with it than I thought I would. And thank everybody in the chat for hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun. But of course, the show is not over. There's still many more episodes to come. Next week, we're going to be on Justin's channel. I get to take the week off. He's got to do the slides and this stuff. It's going to be awesome. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for stopping by, checking out my channel, his channel, our channel, and we will see you next time.